Today we're going to learn about triangle congruence proofs. When you're trying to prove that two triangles are congruent, you need to show three things from both triangles are congruent. Either three sides, two sides in the included angle, two angles in the included side, two angles in a non-included side, or a right triangle with a hypotenuse and a leg. Once you have three congruent things, you have to use the correct congruence postulate/theorem. If you have three congruent sides, then you use side, side, side. If you have two angles in an included side, you use angle, side, angle, and so forth. Some guiding questions you should ask yourself when looking at these pictures to figure out if the triangles are congruent is, what information am I given? From the given information, what do you know is congruent? From the picture, what else is congruent? Which postulate/theorem matches my congruent information? Make sure to mark the picture as you find some congruent things. So let's try a proof. This proof says you're given C is the midpoint of JN and JE is congruent to EN. And they want you to prove that triangle JCE is congruent to triangle NCE. And they tell you you're going to use 5 lines and 2 givens. So first we start by drawing our proof T-chart. First we write our first given. C is the midpoint of, let's erase this and do this better. C is midpoint of JN. That's our given. Second, what do we know if C is the midpoint of JN? Well, that's easy. It means it cuts JN into 2 equal parts. So I know that JC is congruent to NC. There's a side congruence for us. That is proven by definition of a midpoint. Okay. Then there's nothing else I can get off of that. So I also know that JE is congruent to EN. That again is another side congruence, so I put an S out to the side, and that is a given. Okay. So I mark that JEEN. Now, do I have another congruence? A hidden congruence? Yes, I actually do. That's the side that they both share. So I write EC is congruent to EC. It's a side congruency. And how do I know they're the same? Well, it's reflexive. It's saying itself is equal to itself. That is reflexive. So now I've got all 3 sides are congruent. So now I can write what they told me to prove. JCE is congruent to triangle NCE. And the postulate I would use would be side, side, side. So there you go. There's the basics on writing a proof. Again, come to me for tutoring if you need any help.